Hello, my name is Damon Friedman, co-founder and president of SOF Missions. As a 20-year veteran within Special Operations, I've gone through many challenges due to my military service and time in combat. We felt called to start SOF Missions to serve our fellow brothers and sisters in arms, focusing on suicide prevention and resiliency. Our mission at SOF Missions is to empower warriors to find purpose and be resilient. Since 2011, when we started the organization, almost 3 million men and women have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the scars of war take a toll on their psychological, physical, social, and spiritual health. Many veterans feel a sense of hopelessness and a loss of purpose when they return to civilian life. They feel isolated and alone, unable to reconnect. And in the greatest of tragedies, over 20 veterans lose all hope and take their own lives. Our goal at SOF Missions is to provide veterans the tools and resources so that they don't become a statistic. We offer a unique approach to combating veteran suicide through a whole health intradisciplinary model. The Be Resilient program is a 4-pillar methodology that addresses the areas of psychological, physical, social, and spiritual wellness. We provide care through 3 delivery methods: medical clinics, retreats, and educational training. Since we started back in 2011, we have been able to reach veterans in all 50 states and have served over 3,000 veterans through the Be Resilient program. Being resilient is a multifaceted and complex issue. We know that to find a lasting solution, we have to address the whole warrior. Many challenges cannot be solved by providing the treatments and modalities of just one component, but by tackling them all. Now, we've expanded our services to include law enforcement and first responders. Together, we can make a lasting impact in the lives of warriors across the nation. To learn more, visit our website at sofmissions.org.
For your post assignment, all units.
All right. This ain't just a show. This is a platform. Veteran built, battle tested. Welcome to the Misfit Nation. Yeah! In a room, built from boots on the ground, now we breaking the rules. 2 vets, 1 leader, painting the sound, turn scars into sermons, let them echo around. Artists with truth, musicians with fire, actors backstage chasing something higher. Entrepreneurs bleeding just to get ahead. If you fought for your dream, yeah, you are what you said. If they told you no, if you still came back, if you fell to your knees but you stayed on track, this is your voice, this is your flame. Say it loud, remember the name. No salvation, just elevation. We rise again. From the fight to the end. We are the Misfit Nation. No damn labels, no damn cages. If you're still breathing, you belong. Turn it up. This is our song. Yeah. This is our song. Yeah. Veterans standing with ghosts in the chest. First responders running in while the world second guess. Gold star names carved deep in the soul. Your story ain't over, we carry the whole. Coaches teaching mindset, breaking the chains, turning barely alive into owning the pain. Truth over polish, scars on display. If it's real, let it bleed, that's the misstep play. If it's heavy right now, and the dark feels close. If it's heavy right now, and the dark feels close. If it's heavy right now, and the dark feels close. It's Aubrey right now, we're the more than you know. 9888, don't walk alone. Veterans press 1, bring it home. Don't trade forever for tonight. You're still needed in this fight.
All right. We got a little Bone Thugs and Harmony coming at you tonight. It's the first of the month. It's the first show of February. January's done. The grind is behind us. The momentum is built. And now we step into February, ready to level up. This is the month where consistency beats excuses, where focus gets sharper, and where the work you started begins to show. No more warning up. No more waiting. February's all about action, purpose, and keeping the fire lit when others fade. So lock it in, turn it up, and get ready. Because the crew is here to bring the energy, the grit, and the straight up truth every single week. Welcome to February, and welcome to Stephen and Jake, the ToosDay Crüe.
Hello there. Hey, Jake.
Hey, happy February, Stephen. How you doing?
I'm good. You?
Hey, you know what? It's a good day to be alive. Got to see some snow melt today. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day.
And then we're going to get hit with more. I don't know about you. We're talking maybe Thursday or Friday, maybe more snow here.
We're supposed to get a little bit. They don't know what we're getting yet. I know today we didn't get any here at the house. We had some rain go south of us and some snow go north of us, and all we got was just some warm weather. So I was happy with that.
Fantastic.
You having a good week so far?
Yeah, I can't complain.
All right.
You know,
It's been
normal stuff, you know.
It's been a pretty good week for me. I'm kind of mad at that little rodent because we saw his shadow yesterday, but hey, it is what it is.
You know what? Regardless if he sees a shadow or not, it's still 6 weeks of winter. I don't understand why anybody gets upset.
Hey, yeah, I understand.
You can deep fry them for dinner if you'd like, but it's still going to be 6 weeks of winter.
They're better. They're speaking from experience. They're better grilled, barbecued, or made into a stew.
We don't do that here in Jersey.
Oh, we got a great guest tonight, Stephen. We had okay, producer, quit. We got a great guest this evening. We had a chance to talk to him in the green room. His name is David Shoup, and we're going to get him on here to talk about. I'm not going to go into much what he's going to talk about. We'll let him do it, but I will tell you, and this is me included, for too many of us combat veterans, PTSD is presented as something to manage. Basically, like you're going to have to live with this for the rest of your life. Deal with it, and they don't really give us any tools to overcome it. Just deal with it. Well, our guest, David Shoup, he refused to accept that narrative. He's a United States Marine Corps combat veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom, and he turned his battle with PTSD into a mission-driven system for total freedom. And what we're going to do in this episode is get how he shares how discipline, science, and a warrior mindset can help veterans break free from survival mode and reclaim their purpose, clarity, and control. So without any further ado, let's get David Shoup in here.
All right, guys, welcome. Thank you so much for bringing me in. I appreciate it.
All right, David, great to have you. Great to have you. Hey, I gave about a nickel's worth of what you're all about. Won't you fill in the other 95 cents for us and tell the Misfit Nation who you are and what you're about?
I think the best way that I can start off with is kind of sharing a little bit of my story, right? So, I mean, I was in Iraq 05, 06, 07 era, right? And like a lot of veterans, they train us to go out there like you guys, right? They train us how to go out there, but they don't train us how to come home and take off the pack, relax, right? And they definitely don't train any kind of mental health stuff. And I was no exception, right? So in 08, I came back and things were not the same, right? 2 tours, did a bunch of other things, but the Iraq stuff really left a mark on me, right? So, and I fought with PTSD for 15 freaking years, right? 15 years. The VA gave me every single diagnosis it possibly could, right? It gave me all the medicine, gave me all the clinical labels, right? And like you said, they just expected me to just accept this and just realize, okay, David, this is your life now, right? That's what a lot of guys are told. Manage it and deal with it. And just the way life is, it's never going to go away, right? So through my journey, I went to, I would say, the very edge, right? I mean, we were battling with intense depression, intense anxiety, suicidal stuff. I mean, it was nasty, right? It was really tough. And I basically said, you know what? I got to do something about this. I'm not going to sit here like this for the rest of my life. And that's what drove me to create the program that I now advocate for. And I work with vets across the country. It's called Mission Freedom. Mission Freedom is based on a couple of core tenets, right? So I think this would be a good way to start, right? We got to start with the basics. We got to break it down. The Marines call it Barney style, right? So the basics here is life doesn't have to be this way. Number one, right? Vets are told to cope forever. It's just not true. What if you didn't have to cope anymore because you literally didn't have PTSD anymore, right? Some guys hear that, and I tell people that, and and it just blows their mind. What do you mean I don't have to have PTSD for the rest of my life? What do you mean this isn't part of my, my essence forever, right? It's absolutely true. Life doesn't have to be this way. So that's number one. Number two, you can fix this whenever you want. Okay, and I'll go into that a little bit more in just a little bit here, but you can make the adjustments and literally rewire your nervous system so that you don't have to have anxiety, depression, hypervigilance, all this other stuff, right? And the third thing is that you're not broken, okay? Guys are told that they're broken, right? Including myself, which no wonder there's so many vets hurting themselves every single freaking day, okay? Right? We all know the statistics, right? I know myself from my unit, far more people took their life than died in Iraq. It's crazy, right? Over 185,000 suicides since 9/11. 185. That is more deaths than World War I, Korea, Iraq, and Afghanistan combined. All those wars combined, it does not equal the fatalities and suicide has taken veterans. This is the biggest battle that basically the veteran community has ever faced, right? Now, they didn't always call it PTSD, as shell shock and all these other things back in the day, but
battle fatigue.
Yeah, right. If you study the history on it, in other countries, they would put you in jail if you even allege that you had something. I mean, it's nuts, right? So this isn't just a U.S. thing. This is a worldwide thing. But we're obviously focused on the red, white, and blue here, right? So the third tenet is you're not broken. You have a machine. This is called your nervous system, and it just needs to be rewired, right? You just need to rewire yourself in a way where you're no longer essentially traumatized anymore. But those are the basic things. That's a really kind of brief summary of kind of the Mission Freedom program. Yeah.
All right. And I looked through your website and looked at the steps and stuff, and it looks like it pans out. I mean,
my question is, I'm the non-military guy here, but when is the government going to realize they need to step up and do something, and not you start something and other people that we've interviewed do something to help people with PTSD? Because the more I hear about it, the more I wonder why somebody hasn't knocked on the door and said, we need to change things.
Yeah,
you need to do better on your end before you take over and start helping, and this person takes over and tries to help, and the government needs to step in and do something. Are they ever going to change? Are they ever going to do that? Or are they just going to brush it to the side and say, you're right to home?
No, I can make a guess, right? And this may not be a popular opinion, but I think the reason is because the pharmaceutical industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? And so they're prescribing Zoloft and Abilify and all these things to sedate vets, right? Because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? So what we need is true healing. And I completely agree with you. The government needs to step in and do something. Actually, it's my personal mission. My personal mission is to actually get a system adopted for our military so that guys are actually getting trained before they get out. because that's when you're safe, right? Everyone in the military knows when you're with your boys and you're with your unit, you feel safe. And it's not when you get out, that's when things start to go downhill potentially, right? So if we had a system, like a program before guys got out that would help them, that's my long-term ultimate goal, because I think that's the forever solution. We need to teach people before they become vets about how to handle this stuff. So that's kind of my
because I mean, say you've got a PSC or Lance Corporal that's got PTSD. He's still in. He's dealing with that, and he ends up staying 20 years. So now he's a gunny or a master gunnery sergeant or whatever, and he gets out. He's still dealing with that PTSD that he got when he was a Lance Corporal.
Yep.
And it's probably going to be harder to get rid of than if, we have something on a squad or a platoon level that, hey, guys, for part of our training this week, we're going to do this. We're going to get our head right. And producer, if you're listening, that idea right there that he's got, throw up the applause or whatever. That sounds good. I like that.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, it's not just the government. The stigma in the military needs to be rewired as well, right? So like back in, let's see here, 05, 06, 07, I was in the infantry battalions, et cetera. And if you even whispered anything of mental health of any kind, they take you out of your unit, right? They take you out of your unit and, well, this guy's unfit to lead, right? So because we were going Fallujah, Ramadi, Baghdad, we were in Al Qaim. That was when I was in, right? I went to Al Qaim. And, so guys are trained, hey, this is a weakness. I'm not going to address it. So, I mean, it's not just the government, although we definitely need to do something. We need to get something to the congressional level so that the Department of War /DOD gets something approved of for sure. But it's also, we need to actually, fix the mindset as well so that people are actually getting the help that they need. Because I remember guys, they were so jacked up when we were going through our back-to-backs, because I was in 3-4, and 3-4 is the most heavily deployed battalion at the time, right, in Iraq anyways. And there was guys so jacked up they would black out and they wake up in the grocery store. I mean, it was sad, and and so this is it has to be attacked on all fronts, because again, this is the biggest enemy, in my opinion, that our veteran community faces, and that's why I'm called to do this. This isn't just this is not a job. This is a calling for me. This is like a passion of mine. So, yeah. Right.
Like I said, the more people we interview like you that are trying to do something, the more I hear like Jake being a bomb tech. He saw shit he should probably never have seen and never have done, and that's in his head. How come nobody's working with him there? Because when he speaks up, they're like, "Okay, go home. You're no longer worthy to us." So he's quiet for 20 years, and then he comes out and he's weird, and you have to try to fix that. And there has to be something in between there to get the fix in, get it out of the heads that it is not wrong to say, I'm screwed up. Can you help me a little bit? Fix you, talk to you, get it straightened out a little bit, get you back out there. It from all I'm hearing, it's a stigma. If I talk, I'm done. That's it. And that's why nobody does anything about it.
And I will give kudos to the Army on this a little bit. I know in my deployment in 2006, I did see they did have counselors on the battlefield. They were at Baghdad, and they had a little shack set up, and they were psychological counselors, and you could just go in, sign your name, and go talk to a dude for an hour or whatever, and it was a short-term help. It kind of helped to get some stuff off your chest a little bit. And
but when you went into that room for that hour, did anybody look at you differently because you went in that room for an hour? That's what we need to change. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, they were just a Band-Aid, and right. I have, but I was in a position. I was a senior NCO by then, and wasn't nobody gonna say anything to me.
Right. Okay.
I mean, they wasn't gonna say anything to me. They might be talking behind my back. Hey, Jake's crazy. don't talk to him anymore.
Well, we still say that now, but that's neither here or
Touche.
there.
Now,
Okay.
David, I do have a question. I know, especially in the household, there's more than the veteran that suffers from PTSD when they come back.
Yep.
The spouses, the kids. Now, can they do your program as well?
Yeah, a great question. I've actually been asked by spouses. One particular one I'm thinking of, she asked me, I suffered a lot of, domestic violence. I got a lot of trauma from a really bad divorce. Would Mission Freedom work for me? The concepts, the strategies that are Mission Freedom, the Mission Freedom book is yes, it's built for combat vets, but the approach will apply to anyone with any kind of trauma because, the basics, I know we haven't gotten there yet, but the basics is rewiring your system so that you don't have to cope forever because you literally aren't like traumatized or triggered at all. Like that's the basis of it. So to answer your question, yes. I mean, we all know the spouses, they can actually inherit the PTSD from the vet, right? I mean, it's proven, right? So, and so that's tragic. And so, yeah, I love working, and helping out military spouses as well. Although I do focus on the vets because we just kind of speak the same language. But I've actually partnered with some other great nonprofits that work with the military spouses specifically because they need all that support too. But the Mission Freedom program would help pretty much anybody with any type of traumatic event for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, because this is not something that is just military specific, and it sounds like a great program. So we don't have any questions yet. Hey, come on, ToosDay Crüe, get on it. I know you have questions for David, and there's a lot of good info here for you to have questions on. Why don't you take us through step by step? I saw where you put in, you put in your information, you get the book, and just how you start going through what are the steps of going through the program? Yeah,
great. And there's basically 4 components, if you will. Kind of we walk ourselves through it. Okay, and I really, I take everybody through, all the vets that I work with, we go through the same kind of system because even if the trauma is different, right? The PTSD, or maybe the guy is just feeling lost and he doesn't feel like he has purpose anymore, right? Well, okay. I mean, it's all the same kind of concept, regardless of whether it's some severe depression or, whatever, right? The hypervigilance or whatever, which pretty much every vet has got a little bit of that going on, right? Feeling like there's someone behind you, want to sit in the corner of the room. And actually, a little bit of an aside, I put myself in the corner of the room, but I face the corner every single time because I've literally trained my nervous system. Like, I don't care who's behind me. It doesn't matter. And I soothe myself, right? So anyways, that's just a little on the side here. But the program is 4 pieces. The program is 4 pieces. The first part, we got to prepare to leave the wire, right? So that is really figuring out the long-term goal, the objective. Because so many people are like, I just want to get better. Well, it's hard for me to build a target on, I just want to get better, right? That kind of thing. But in that process, we're going to build intense an amount of leverage. Okay. And I actually walk my vets through leverage building exercise. And why is that so important? Why am I talking about leverage? Why don't we just get right to it? Is because when you have any kind of traumatic event that has ingrained itself into your nervous system, it's going to take a lot of leverage to get that out, to kind of rewire yourself, right? Leverage is built on pain and pleasure. Okay. So if you associate enough pleasure change and pain to remaining where you are, you will change, right? Guys tell me, David, I can't change. Bullshit. You can always change. Everybody can change with enough leverage, right? So that's why we go through that, really wire in where someone's like, oh my gosh, like I got to change. I don't know how yet, but I got to do it and I got to change, right? I got to, rewire myself. I'm motivated. I got to get that motivation where you're going to punch through a wall. You're going to kick through that door like you did in service. But now we're focusing that on basically the recovery and the healing, right? So that's step 1, okay? Once we get that, now they got this unending motivation where they're going to achieve it no matter what. Good, we're going to need that because it's going to be it's a challenge, right? The second part of Mission Freedom is now we're going to build. I got to help you soothe the nervous system, okay? Because a lot of guys come to me and they are wired. They're wired up, right? They're wired up. They're intense, like their nervous system is firing off where they're constantly on alert. We gotta help you soothe down, because if we don't get you soothed down a little bit, it's really hard to do the real work, right? So basically, Mission Freedom Program has a really cool kind of coping system, if you will, that I built that can basically help you handle any kind of symptom, anytime, anywhere, right? Any time, right? And so it's basically built on, if I were to describe it as like a scale, okay? So we're going to build a scale, and we're going to help you rate your distress from 0 to 10, okay? Psychiatrists or psychologists will call it SUDS, symptom of unit of distress, right? But it doesn't matter. You're going to get really good. When I work with my guys, you're going to get really good at rating your distress on a scale of 0 to 10, right? And then from that point, then you're going to go, okay, now I'm going to build specific strategies from 0 to 10, right? Because the problem that a lot of guys face with, they go to talk therapy, right? Everyone just goes to talk therapy. Talk therapy is only going to do so much for you. It doesn't rewire, it doesn't treat the underlying cause, right? So, and they also will tell you to do basically narrative type stuff, right? Let's just talk it out. We'll talk it out, and then maybe you won't hurt anymore, that kind of stuff. But narrating it and just kind of, do you understand that you're not actually in danger? Those kinds of things. Everybody's heard that. Mm-hmm. Don't you just understand you're not in real danger, Jake? Well, yeah, but when I'm fight or flight, it doesn't freaking matter. Like my nervous system is fired up. I don't give a shit about what I say because I'm in so much distress. So we got to build strategies based on where you're at in the distress scale. And when we fully build it out, we're gonna have strategies for every level of distress, anxiety, or depression. So if you feel depressed and you're dissociating and you're isolating, we got strategies 0 to 10. All right. And then if you're feeling really anxious, that will go into panic, all right, or panic attacks, right? I've been there. We got it from 0 to 10, right? And I help the veteran build the right kind of strategy based on how the kind of distress, right? 0 to 10. So at the end of that, now they've got, and now here's the beautiful part, is now what we're going to do is we're going to train your battle buddy, right? That's what we called it in the Marines, right? Your partner, right? You need a partner through this process, okay? Not only for accountability, but when you're feeling really jacked up and you're like, holy shit, I feel like I'm hyperventilating, they're going to go to you, okay? The scale is going to have a description of the distress on the top. What does it look like when I'm at a 4? What does it look like when I'm at a 6? What does it look like when I'm at 8? So now they're going to be able to know where you're at. And they're going to be able to help you figure out, okay, this dude is at a 6 right now. I got to put him in some cold water, right? Or whatever, right? He's at an 8. I'm throwing this guy in a shower, cold shower. That'll do it, right? If you get thrown in the cold shower with your clothes on, I don't care how much distress you're at, that's gonna do it, right? That kind of thing. But it helps you, like, for example, when I was doing this with my wife, we were the closest we have ever been during the worst of my symptoms, right? I mean, it was amazing because we utilized the system. She knew how to communicate with me. She knew what to do, and she knew how to basically coach me through it a little bit. Like, what's your number? I'm at an 8. Okay, boom, now you're going to do this, right? Or whatever. Do some deep breathing. Maybe you're at a 5, a little bit lower. Deep breathing will be effective, right? That kind of stuff. So that is the soothing your nervous system portion of it. Extremely important that you build the right strategies for the right kind of distress. Strategy for anxiety doesn't work for depression. That's something that most people don't understand. You know what I mean? They're trying to deploy a deep breathing exercise for depression. It's different. It does different things. You see what I'm saying? So that's the second part, okay? Third part is now we're going to rewire the nervous system. That's where the action, this is where the magic is happening, right? We need to basically change your associations. If I could take a second here, PTSD is basically an overgeneralization of your nervous system, right? I saw a hole in Iraq in the ground. It had a bomb in it. It blew up. An IED blew up. It hurt me, right? So now your brain goes, holes are dangerous, right? Or enough, if you associate enough, it'll be generalized to say holes are dangerous. Crowds are dangerous. People getting close to me are dangerous. This is all because of the generalization that the nervous system makes, right? But if you can interrupt that pattern and change that association to something else, all of a sudden it doesn't even trigger you anymore because now you can associate it to something positive. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
this is the meat and potatoes of Mission Freedom. We got to do all that work to get to this point right here where we go, man, if I could shift my association, the connection that I have in my brain, so that what I used to think is traumatizing, it now literally gives me pleasure and joy, it can be done, right? It can be done. And I'm gonna give you guys. Can I give you guys an example? Simple example.
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna give you an example that I know every single man listening to this is gonna relate to. Okay. Let's say your wife gives you some feedback, right? Some feedback, right? And she's going, you know what, I need you to do this a different way. And you're like, gosh, will she stop criticizing me, right? Or whatever, critiquing me, correcting me, whatever drives you crazy, right? You feel like you're being micromanaged, right? I'm sure there's other husbands on the line here that can relate to this, right? Every man that's been married more than 5 minutes knows what this is, right? So I was no exception. And it would actually trigger me and I get really upset by it. I'm just like, man, she's micromanaging me. So I thought, you know what? I want to rewire this. I want to choose, what if this made me feel closer to her instead? Okay. So what I did is I'm like, okay, what she's really trying to do is get close to me. She wants to help me. Okay. At the root. All right. So she wants to feel close to me. Great. I want to feel close to her too. So now what I did is I'm like, okay, I'm going to make that connection. Every time she gives me some feedback, I basically repeat to myself, man, I am so lucky my wife is getting closer to me right now. I feel great. And I'll literally celebrate it. I'm going to get that dopamine pumped into my system, the feel-good drug. So I'm literally like celebrating. I'm pumping my fist every time she did that. Now, she has no clue what the hell I'm doing. She's like, what is this guy doing, right? I'm celebrating. I am just pumping my fist, whatever. And I did that enough times where now there was a new connection in my brain to the feedback where she's trying to get close to me and I feel good. I literally rewired it so that I felt positive. I felt so happy every time she gave me feedback. Right? It's the best marital advice you can get. Right there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool. And I got to tell you, you was talking about the holes.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Holland, for when I first started driving, when I come back, if I saw a guardrail, I'd go to the other side of the highway.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was guardrails on both sides of the highway, I drove down the center line. I didn't care how much traffic I was impeding, whatever. And she's like, you know, those guardrails aren't going to hurt you, right? And that took a little while. She helped me through that. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about with the holes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my friend, every veteran that's been to combat understands that. Because here's the thing. We're trained to make those associations because it'll keep you alive, right? You know what I mean? You're hooking, you're button hooking, you're crossing, you're bobbing, you're weaving, whatever. You are trained, and you are trained thousands of times over again to make certain associations because you need it. The issue is that we keep those associations and now we generalize it everywhere else, right?
Yep.
Because at the root, veterans value security and safety. That's what we were trained to do, right? But we take that into the civilian sector where we really don't need it at that same level, right? So now you are reinforcing this hypervigilance all over the place because it makes you feel safe, right? So now it gets rewired deeper and deeper and deeper into your system. So we got to go back. We got to go back and we got to rewire that, right? So I mean that's kind of the basics for how we actually go about and do this. Now the systems and the strategies, I got a lot of tools in the toolkit. We can go through some of them if you like, but I mean this is the basics where we got to reverse that. So that therefore, when you see the guardrail, you're like, oh, that's no big deal. I've associated it now to something else, right? You can rewire that. Now it's like, now it doesn't even trigger me anymore. It makes me feel, relaxed or happy or whatever. Like, for example, the thing with my wife where I'm like, wow, I literally, to this day, this was years ago, by the way, I still feel excited when she says something like that. I'm like, gosh, damn, it was effective. Yeah.
Hey, at least she's talking to you, right?
That's right. That's right.
There you go.
That's right, buddy. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So.
All right. Nina Barnes popped in on Facebook and said, as an ex-military spouse, I appreciate that there's notice that the wives also go through things being married to someone who's struggling. So she wanted to put that out there.
Thank you for being on tonight, Nina.
And for Jake and I, Bama Sucks 9 wants to know, why do we only see you on the night of the show and not other days in shorts like the main show host Rich? Well, Rich does post shorts with Jake and I. You can find them on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. There's shorts posted everywhere. You just might not see them. They might not be in your algorithm. I don't know. But they're there. We see them every day.
And I will say I need to get off my butt and do that. So social media is that's not in my wheelhouse yet, but I'm getting there.
Well, you're still on dial-up, right, Jake?
Yeah. Nah, dude, I got fiber optic out here in the country. Come on now.
Oh, okay. Bama sucks. Thanks for that question, though. We are out there. If you don't have us, look us up on Instagram. Look us up on TikTok. Jake, myself, the producer, we're all there. You can just hook up with us, and you can see everything we have. Sorry, David. They come in. I have to post them.
Oh, hey, and Steven, we got another one in here. I'll throw it up for you.
Okay, at Hooligan Tools 2, Tool 2, what was the turning point when you decided PTSD wasn't something you would accept? Thank you for that question, Hooligan Tool.
Yeah, that's a great question. And basically, so I'll answer it this way. So I was in therapy for 5 years. Okay, 5 years. I paid off my therapist's house. Right? But how many sessions I had and God bless her. She's an amazing lady. I'm not, yeah, I just tease her. I was like, man, I paid off like a rental property for you. Yeah, that was an investment. Right. But basically, we kind of flatlined our progress, right? We flatlined our progress, and it was basically because I didn't think it could be any other way. Okay. And I actually associated my identity to being traumatized. Okay. Let me elaborate on what I mean. If you basically, like, this is a great test to see if you're associate your identity to your PTSD or your trauma or whatever, right? Because people get their needs met from being the victim or being hurt or being the broken veteran or whatever, right? I mean, people, get attention and that kind of stuff. If someone were to go to you and say, I can take away your PTSD like this and you'll be completely healed, would you take it? Right? If you're kind of hesitating, then that means that you've now associated that with who you are. Right? I literally, like, I had a doc come up to me and be like, David, I got this new technology. I don't even remember what it was. He's like, I feel like I can get rid of your PTSD. I told my therapist, if he took away my PTSD, who would I be? Literally said that. Literally. That's why I wasn't healing, guys. Holy cow. Right? I mean, you can't heal if it's a part of who you are. You will never, the human psyche will always protect what it believes it is. You see what I'm saying? Like, it will always defend itself based on what it believes it is. So basically, I know it's a really long-winded answer, but once I understood, I can change my identity. There's techniques and strategies so I can literally remove PTSD from my body so that I didn't have to feel it. I didn't know how to do it, but I was starting to figure this out. I'm like, this is the point where I'm going to do something about this. And then what really motivated me is I was like, I got to tell other people about this. Other vets need to know that it doesn't have to be this way. You can eradicate PTSD from your life regardless of what you've been told. And people literally fight me on this. I got like these social media like bouts where people are like calling me like all kinds of things. I'm like, gosh dang, dude, I'm just trying to help you. Right? But yeah, people will fight me and say you're full of it or all these other Facebook swear words, right? I'm lying and I'm tricking people, right? I'm like, no, right? You can do. I mean, this has actually been around for a while. It just hasn't been applied to this kind of metric, but life doesn't have to be this way, right? Get rid of this stuff and live free. Period.
See, the more you talk about it, the more, like I said, like you're talking about people changing their PTSD. This is what happens when you don't take care of PTSD. You become Batman. You go out there and you do things. You need to change that.
Now, I got a question. I got a question about, you said that you spent 5 years in therapy and treatment. Did they ever do the flashing light treatment on you?
Man, I've heard about that. I have not. Well, I did EMDR a lot. I did years of EMDR, right? Prolonged exposure, DBT, dialectical stuff, cognitive behavioral therapy, narrative therapy, burn your letter in the fire therapy. I mean, whatever you like. Yeah. We've all, anyone who's been in therapy longer than 10 minutes, like, oh, the burn your letter in the fire therapy session. I got that one. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I did the like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you could do EMDR with like little buzzers. You can do it with the ball that bounces. You can do all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got set in a dark room with
Oh, is that right?
lights, and I did not think that was cool at all.
Yeah. Like, you're trying to help me not be, so distressed, but you're really stressing me out right now. Like, putting me in a dark room and I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Nina's got another question.
And Nina wants to know what are ways either partner can approach getting the other to get help.
That's interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, guys, if somebody doesn't want to change, that's going to be a tough road, right? But the first one, that's why I talked about in phase 1, we got to get that leverage, right? So I think it's, that leverage building exercise is so doggone important, because that will get the person to go, I don't know how to change. I'm going to punch through a brick wall to make it happen. I will change no matter what. Why will you, like, one of the first questions I ask is, why won't you stop? What is, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it would be tough if the guy's like, I'm happy just the way I am. And, I'm a grumpy old vet. They got the t-shirt, they got the 311 hats and all that. They got all that stuff, but they've associated, this is their identity, right? That's the thing, right? That's like the vet uniform when you leave Camp Pendleton. They just hand that to everybody, right? Mm-hmm. You get a beard in 5 minutes, you got a huge beard. I'm like, what the? You got out yesterday. How do you have a beard that long? Right?
Yes.
But that's why. So, I mean, I really think being compassionate and loving, you just got to love on your spouse, the vet, or either both vets or whatever, and just say, you know what? I think there's something better for us. I really feel like, what if maybe we do some vision casting exercises, right? Like, what if we could go in a restaurant and you feel completely relaxed? What if you could, you don't have to have, guys, when I was going my treatment, I had weapons in every room. Seriously, like every entrance and exit, I had guns. If you came to my house back in 2010 or whatever, and you came to my house, I probably had a knife or a gun. It was nuts, right? So it just, what if that wasn't the case and you could truly relax? And that's going to get them to think, yeah, maybe. Like, what if that's possible, right? You know what I mean? And then you can give them my book, and hopefully that would help. But that's probably an easy way to go about it. Yeah.
Now, in Western Kentucky, that's normal. That has nothing to do with PTSD. That's just we call that Tuesday.
Yeah. We call that, don't come on my land unless you're invited.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like that in Alabama too. When I spent some time there. My grandparents, they had a gun, and they were in the middle of nowhere, miles from anyone. If they saw a car, they had a rifle, right? Like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean?
I don't know that car.
Yeah. You got 2 seconds to identify yourself before my dog rips you apart, like.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got another question. And it popped up on the screen, so it said that's pretty good. Anyway, and Pal Becomes wants to know, how does your system differ from traditional therapy or support groups for veterans? Thanks for that question, Pal Become.
Yeah, that's a great question. I get asked that a lot. And traditional therapy, generally speaking, now obviously the term traditional therapy is pretty broad, right? I mean, there's so many different things but generally speaking, traditional therapy, we're addressing the top level, right? We're addressing symptoms. Okay, that's why when you meet with a therapist, they're going to go, okay, tell me about your symptoms, and then we talk it out. But they're basically trying to help you desensitize, okay, so that it's less triggering, or it causes you less distress. Okay, that's in a nutshell. Obviously, I'm trying to summarize, right? So, but that still at the end of the day, we're dealing on the top level. We're dealing with the symptom, and some of the strategies do help you desensitize enough. We're like, all right, well, it just doesn't hurt me as bad, but the trigger is still a trigger. It maybe just doesn't hurt me as bad. Right? The Mission Freedom Program is we're going to completely rip out that trigger, and we're going to rewire it so that it's not only is it not a trigger, but it actually promotes and produces positive feelings and sensations. You see what I'm saying? So that's a very different approach, as opposed to let's make it hurt less, right? Well, what if we made it empower you? What if we made it, you know, that kind of thing? Like I'm gonna give an example. Fireworks. Everybody, every veteran on this planet, or at least in this nation, right? Generally speaking, has a certain dislike for fireworks because of the connection that it means for you, right? Because of, okay, I associate it to gunfire, and then gunfire obviously is dangerous. And so every time I hear it, it reminds me of this and all this kind of stuff, right? So for me, I went through this process and I rewired it to mean just enjoyment, love, connection with my family, and different kinds of strategies. Okay. I think it might be helpful to actually give one of my strategies out of how I do it, up to you guys. If we
have at it.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, I'll just finish off this example. So I rewired it. Now, like when I hear a firework, I literally feel happy and excited because I've reprogrammed it to be connection with the kids, the barbecues, the whatever. So I've severed the connection, the tie with the gunfire, and now it's, you know what I mean? So that's like a great, it's a silly example, but it's a common one that I think most guys can relate to, because most guys, they're proud of how much they hate fireworks. It's a part of the, see what I mean? There is meeting their need. It's a part of their identity now. And now they've associated this in with themselves. You see what I'm saying? Like, of course I'm a vet that hates fireworks, right? I mean, who doesn't hate fireworks? You know, that kind of thing. So we got to address those things, and then we can get down to it and actually flip the meaning. So a strategy that I came up with, or a part of my, strategy, I would just say, is something I call the association scale. Okay. I'm going to give you an example. I was I traveled actually out to Dubai. Okay. Dubai is an amazing spot. It's got to be like one of the wealthiest places on the planet or whatever. It's crazy, right? But I went out there to rewire my nervous system because I didn't want to go to Iraq, right? I'm not going to Baghdad. But I was like, maybe I could go somewhere close because I want to get a new connection to the Middle East, right? And I never thought I would do this. Never thought I would do this. But I was like, you know what? I'm doing it because it's time to kind of change the meaning, right? So I did that. And I was in the middle of this highway, and I looked off the road, and I saw like a building that it was like a spitting image of a building that we were involved in a firefight in Iraq and all this other stuff. And I immediately almost had a panic attack. Like I was just like, holy shit, because all the memories and all that stuff, right? And I was like, oh my God. So basically I deployed some immediate, what I call stop techniques, where I'm just like cutting. I got to cut the basically cycle, right? Don't let yourself spin off into a complete panic attack. Boom. I do some, like body clenches, and you just got to distract yourself to cut that. Right. And so then I looked at it. I looked at the building and I go, interesting. That, you know what that building also reminds me of? It reminds me of a building I saw in Nevada, right? We drive to Las Vegas. You know, we're in SoCal, so we drive to Vegas to have a good time for the weekend, right? And I'm like, that would be, I would consider to be a neutral stimulus, right? So this is a scale. We got the traumatizing stimulus, which is what I saw in Iraq. But you know what it also reminds me of? What I saw in the middle of freaking nowhere in around Nevada, right? There's just broken down buildings everywhere, right? Boom. And then the longer I looked at it, it's like, you know what? It also reminds me of some buildings that I saw in 29 Palms. I was stationed there, right? The stumps, right? The Marines go there. And I didn't just go there to prepare for Iraq. I was stationed there with 3rd Battalion, 4th Marines. And for whatever reason, I got a fondness for that place. I don't know why, right? But it's because of the connection that I had there. That's why it means something positive to me versus miserable for other people. So I'm looking at this building. I'm going, you know what? I could toggle how I experience this building based on what I focus and what I associate it to. So then I had to make enough connections of, boom, this is 29 Palms, this is 29 Palms, wow, and I'm feeling all this good. And I take that and I put it on the building, and I literally stopped the cycle. And then when we actually came back to that point another time, I was like, oh, there's the building from 29 Palms. I completely changed what it meant to me, and therefore it no longer triggered me at all, right? So you have to practice this. This is not something you know what I mean? Like the association scale, I'm very good at it, so I can toggle meanings very quickly. But this is something I work with my guys on, where we can just oscillate back and forth. We actually go to the hurtful stimulus, and then we go back. We go back and forth, so you can actually literally oscillate it yourself. You can just like, wow, you're just changing things, what they mean to you, and you can literally remove like what used to traumatize you, and now you're like, wow, that actually makes me feel pretty good. I looked at a building and I felt excited because it reminded me of the stumps for some reason. I don't know. Hopefully that answers the question. Yeah.
All right. And I'm glad that worked out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Another question up here.
Lou TN Target wants to know, what role do discipline and mindset play in long-term freedom from PTSD? Thank you for that question, Lieutenant Target.
Yep. No, that's an outstanding question. I actually work on strengthening my mind on purpose almost every single day, right? I'll take cold showers every single day, not because I want to, because I'm going to train my mindset to be, when I tell my body to do something, it's going to do it, right? When I get up out of bed, I literally swing my feet out of bed. I basically smash my feet on the ground and I hit my chest, and I sometimes I scare the shit out of my wife, but it is what it is, baby, right? But I'm celebrating. I'm like, hey, I'm announcing my presence to this world. I'm awake and I'm excited and I'm proud to be here and I am ready to go, right? But I've trained myself to do that. It's a mindset training exercise so that my mind is the strongest part of my body, right? And I hone my physical body a lot, but my mind is something I work out. You gotta work that sucker out, right? Like go jump in the pool when it's cold out, or go for an intense run and push yourself beyond what you think you can do. It's strengthening the mind. So having discipline and a strong mindset is critical for this, because when you challenge these seated beliefs up here, guys, that have been serving you, or you think they've been serving you for the last 10 plus years or however long it's been, you're going to need a hell of a lot. You're going to need a hell of a lot of discipline. You're going to have a lot of mindset, a powerful mindset to push through this stuff. You see what I'm saying? So that is very, very important. That's why I do it every day.
I went out with the dogs the other night to take them out for their last time and walked around barefoot in the snow.
Yeah, we don't have snow around San Diego, my friend. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know that. Well, you do, but it's a different kind.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Although I grew up around Chicago, so there's plenty of snow over there. So
yes, there is. Yes, there is. Well, David, we are getting toward the end of the show here, and we're gonna start to wind down a little bit. I did not have on Crocs with Jules, but anyway, where was I at? Oh yeah, if somebody wants to contact you, how can they contact you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So all my handles at mission.freedom.0311, which you've been in the Marines. That's the Infantry Rifleman MOS. So mission.freedom.0311. Also got warriorsawakening.com is my website. I got tons of free resources on there. You don't even need to give me your email address. Just go in the free resources. You can just download it, right? Obviously, I got stuff you can, we'll send to you as well. The Mission Freedom book is on Amazon. We just launched it last week. That was a huge success. I spent a year and a half making that. But yeah, reach out to me on social media. I love talking with guys and helping you guys out. And I do a lot of teaching and stuff as well. But we got to get the message out, guys. Life doesn't have to be this way. Let's crush PTSD and live free. All
right. And we got another question that popped in that I think we better catch this because it's a very good question from Memphis Safe 45. How can active duty service member begin preparing mentally for life after combat?
That is huge. And actually, like I talked about at the beginning of the show, that's my ultimate kind of objective is getting a system like this. It doesn't have to be the Mission Freedom system. It's something similar to this needs to be taught in the active duty ranks, right? So to prepare yourself, I mean, you need a good support system because life is going to be different, right? We all know, all the vets around here know, man, it is different. Like you can't just, yell at an employee or a coworker or something like, call him a scumbag or something, you know what I mean? Like that's not going to work or you're going to get fired, right? So, but a really good support system, but the support system that you pick out is critical. There's plenty of VFWs out there or different support groups, including one that I went to, that they'll tell you that life is just the way it is right now and you're going to be traumatized forever. So you need to pick a support group that will actually challenge you to be better, right? That's critical. Versus one that'll just like, hey, let's go out there and drink beer and just, numb all the time and just, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. Yeah. You want to be careful. So pick the right support group and just like a partner. And then really just assessing yourself. Really like part of the process that I go through with guys is really helping them assess themselves in terms of, where are we at in terms of our mental health and kind of our triggers and those kinds of things. Because a lot of times, Jake, like you pointed out, guys are in service for 20 plus years and they got traumatized, in Baghdad however many years ago, but they're still carrying that with them. So they need to do a really good assessment so they could start doing the work while they have the support group around them in their unit. So that's kind of the stuff that I would do. And then just make sure you're taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, and kind of just, taking care of that stuff, right? Because a lot of guys don't get sleep without eating well or exercising. You guys got to round all this out, and then you're ready to do the work at that point.
All right. Good answer. Now, okay, we've got how to contact you. Now, we ask a question of all of our guests before we check out of here. And you kind of covered it already, but what are 3 things that are non-negotiable that David has to do every morning or every day?
Yeah, I train my mind, right? I train my body, and I connect with those that I love. Those are the 3 things that I do every single day. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Stephen?
So the Tarzan bang your chest is something you have to do every day.
Yep. Oh, I'm in the mirror doing incantations. If you know what that is, it's a powerful way to keep moving yourself forward. I do that in the mirror, look myself in the eyes and say, you're going to have a great day today. I don't care what happens. You're having an amazing day.
I know if I slam my feet on the floor, started pounding my chest with my alarm work at 5:20 in the morning, my wife would stab me.
I made a young Marine stand in front of a mirror one time, and for about 5 minutes, I made him go, "I'm not screwed up. You're screwed up." And I just made him do that.
Did he have to get the chem light batteries too? I mean, do you have him do that?
No, but he went out and passed the tree test. Oh, ToosDay Crüe, thank you for hanging out with us tonight with the Misfit Nation. And as always, veterans or anybody out there, if you're feeling the darkness, don't think that you want to make it till tomorrow, get on that phone, dial 988. If you're a veteran, take option 1. Because tomorrow will not be as beautiful of a day if you're not in it. We want you here. We love you. And if you don't want to do that, contact us. You've got our contact info, but Stephen at themisfitnation.com, Jake at themisfitnation.com, or info@themisfitnation.com. Drop your phone number in there. One of us will get to you, and we will get you the help that you need.
Absolutely.
We love you. Stephen?
Misfit Nation, we'll see you next week. And like I said, reach out. We're on all the socials. Friend requests if you have to, just to see our pages. We're there. If you need, send me an email. I'll send you the links that way. You have a great night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the great questions. David, thank you.
Thank
Jake,
you, David.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.